Hello. Welcome, guys, to Effin Rager. My name is Ned Gale, and tonight I am riding solo because my mate raged too hard, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome in our guest today. Today in studio, we have Mr. Austin Havocan. How are you doing today?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Feels good to be on the radio. Sitting in the seat that I don't normally sit in front of, so I've got a lot of switches, got a lot of knobs in front of me. It's very stimulating and exciting, but I can't imagine as stimulating and as exciting as being as an astronaut. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they have to do this kind of thing too, right?
Yeah. I imagine they're probably not just like thrown in front of it, but I mean, this is about as many knobs and as many buttons as an astronaut has, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just about, it's one soundboard that gets them there.
Yeah.
It does the trick.
That's most of spaceflight, is just like trying to get good in the mix. It's a lot of EQing to get up into space. So how you doing today?
I'm all right.
Good.
How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How was your weekend? Did you do some raging?
I did some raging.
You did some raging?
Yeah.
What kind of raging? You hang out?
Well, I did some garage sailing.
Garaging? Yeah.
Garaging. Yeah, I had a garage sale.
Very cool.
Made some money. Made some beer.
Yeah. You did some trading rather than some selling.
Yeah, and hung out with you yesterday.
Yeah. It was pretty good. We did the stacks last night over at Station Theater.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. So we're basically going to be rehashing the same show. No.
Okay, so I'll also play Ruth.
Yeah, and I'll play the part of Josh.
Okay.
And then we'll both play the audience.
Okay.
So let's play the audience right now.
Okay, you guys are great.
You guys are so funny.
You're so good.
This is the best show we've ever seen. Nah, they didn't say that.
Well, I mean, they did in my heart.
Which was, we didn't get to mic your heart last night.
Yeah.
And we should have done it tonight. Dang it.
A stint.
We should have. Wow, crud. Okay, well, there's a reason we have you on tonight, as we did have you on the stacks last night, and it's because you're promoting a new film. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do. It's a short documentary that we independently produced. It's called EVA 23. EVA stands for Extravehicular Activity, and that's essentially any work that's done on the outside of the space station. Mm-hmm. And so on this one, there was an incident where Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano, his helmet started filling up with water. And they didn't really know what it was, and they were kind of trying to troubleshoot it, and eventually they decided for him that he should go back in. And when he did that, the water covered his eyes, his nose, got in his ears, messed up his communication system. At the same time, the station went on the opposite side of the Earth, so it's just in shadow, right? It's basically nighttime. And he gets lost.
There's a movie called Dark Waters where people are in waters in the dark, and that's horrifying. And this is the same thing, but with space on it.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Absolutely not. And of course, water in space doesn't work the same way as it does here.
Right, not at all. It's a lot more like almost like a hair gel, and it because of surface tension, it kind of sticks to whatever it touches.
Yeah,
and it moves really easily.
So it was literally just like encompassing his face to where there was nothing he could do.
Yeah, I mean he could breathe through his mouth. He had that training to not inhale the water into his nose. He was able to keep a steady breath with out of his mouth, and he survives. We should say that.
Yeah.
And by the way, also this we didn't mention this last night, but this happened in 2013.
Yeah, this is a fairly recent event.
Yeah, and actually the 5th anniversary is next Tuesday, and so we were going to try to have the premiere on that on that anniversary, but we thought a Saturday night would be a little bit better than a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think that's a good time. I mean, yes, Effin Rager is on this Tuesday, and it's a fantastic time to have an event, especially for a party like that. But I understand not having Tuesday events. I get it.
I think most of the events I do are on Tuesdays.
Tuesday is my official comedy
story
night.
Time.
Yeah. Effin Rager, then the fourth one.
The Moth.
The Moth.
I don't do that anymore, but I used to video for the Moth. With. Just for those of you out there listening that don't know me, I also do a lot of
I was gonna say you're a video man.
A vitamin.
You're a vitamin.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions for the video man, we do have a phone line that's hot and ready for your calls at 526-8737. Why don't you call in and ask us some film questions?
Or space questions.
Or space questions.
Or maybe just how we're doing, Like, I just feel like, people should check up on each other.
Yeah, just check in and then check out and listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. So how long have you been a videoman?
So I work for a company called Space City Films.
Mm-hmm.
We're based down in Clear Lake, so we're about a mile from what we call the gates, so the NASA campus.
The pearly gates?
Yeah. And
or swirly gates, galaxy-wise? I don't know. Yeah.
I started there a little over 8 years ago.
Nice.
So I've been there for a while.
Yeah, yeah. But were you doing video stuff before Space City Films?
No, I taught high school.
Taught high school?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I did know that. What subject did you teach?
English, photography, and video.
Nice.
Yeah,
very,
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did still have a little bit of background in video to an extent. Were you a photographer before then?
Yeah.
Nice.
And actually, when I was hired at Space City Films, it was to do mainly script writing and then some producing. Mm-hmm. But we would hire out the camera work, the DP work, and then eventually, I took that over.
Oh yeah. And the more you outsource that, you just bring it in.
Right.
Well, guys, I can just do this.
And by small company, I mean that we are 4 people.
Yeah. Where's Phil tonight?
Phil, no, couldn't make it.
Him and Connor are probably having dinner together.
Man,
son of
I didn't
a gun.
Even think of that.
Yeah.
Now this is even worse.
Man,
they're effing raging.
They're effing raging while we're trying to effing rage. I think we're raging right now. This is a pretty solid rager. But
I'm angry.
I'm thinking about the rage that could have been.
Man.
Yeah. So you've been doing video for a while now. Obviously, this isn't your first film. I've seen other documentaries you've done.
Yeah.
What are you more interested in documentaries or narratives or what? What is your fascination with the moving pictures?
Yeah, I mean, I like to do creative stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm just most of my friends are a lot funnier than I am, so I'll make what they come up with, or I'll help out. And like all the microstate.
Yeah, you've done a lot of videos for us.
Documentary is kind of where I'm finding is where my heart is. I have a couple more I want to make, and for me, whatever happens with this is almost kind of like a litmus test.
Yeah.
So, if it does really well, then I can, for my other ones, I can go raise money and be like, look, I did this, so help fund my next one.
Yeah, this is like the big title under your belt, I would say.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you did shoot the Micro Satan Tour documentary, which everyone is ready to throw awards at. But
right.
Other than that, I think this
just
is the
the
title
raw
winner.
footage.
Yeah, just the raw footage. We've been submitting the raw footage to Tribeca and Canis, and they keep saying, Canis, we use this. And we're like, oh, come on.
Documentary. It's kind of my jam.
Have you worked on narrative film before?
Yeah.
Okay.
But short stuff.
Yeah.
So this documentary is 25 minutes long, and I'd say we've done longer work for hire. Yeah. But this is kind of like the longest kind of independently produced.
Yeah. This wasn't hired by anyone. You just found it. How did you find this project?
So the man who plays the kind of quote unquote host or narrator of the documentary. Mm-hmm. His name is Chris Hansen. At the time, he was the leader of the Mishap Investigation Board. So whenever this incident happened, it was up to him. He was empowered by the administrator at the time, Charlie Bolden, who was Obama's administrator, NASA administrator, to figure out what this was or what happened, why it happened, and make sure it never happens again, but to make sure that everybody, or as many people as possible, hear this story. Yeah. So I saw a presentation that he did that was about 90 minutes long. It was very in-depth. He went into all the science. It was done in a timeline manner, which was originally how we were going to do the documentary. But I really, really was fascinated by the story, by how close he was to it, how much he knew, and so we approached him about adapting it into a documentary, and he was all about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he is now the head of the EVA office. Wow. So he's he's up there. He's able to really help us out. We got a lot of good access.
So you guys Space City Films already works with NASA on a lot of video work. So I guess you guys already have a certain level of. You do a lot of on-site filming, which is so insanely cool to me.
Yeah.
What is the coolest thing at the Space Center? I mean,
Man, cool. That's hard to say because there's so many different departments to NASA. Like,
Yeah.
there's like the Earth sciences, there's the human kind of physiology stuff. Then there's like
the Rage
deep
corridor.
space.
That's where we were built. Yeah.
Then there's like deep space telescopes. There's satellites. There's all these different sections, and so each one kind of has their kind of own neat stuff to it. But I'd say like right now the coolest thing at Johnson Space Center in Houston is the James Webb Space Telescope.
Oh,
because they're doing like acoustic testing.
Yeah. I saw some photos from that, and it looks is the most sci-fi looking thing.
Yeah, it's
we've
really
ever
cool.
Produced.
Like,
and we have Robonaut.
Yeah. So with the James Webb Space Telescope, it's so crazy that if they just like had it here and they pointed it at the moon, and let's say there was like a dime on the moon, they'd be able to read it.
Holy.
That's how powerful it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And crazy that we've still never been there.
Yeah. You know what? I come up against that a lot. I'm sure like anyone that works with NASA, like when they just speak to the public, people love to be like, well, here's my theory, which I love. Like I love to hear them out. About the moon landing or flat earther. I've never met a flat earther. I'm dying to. I just love.
Oh man, guys! If you're a flat earther, please call in at 713-526-8737. We would love to speak to you and get your your knowledge.
Yeah. No, educate me.
Just the flat facts.
So you mentioned Robonaut. One thing that's really funny is they released some animation of like what they want to use Robonaut for, which is doing this EVA work. So if there's something simple, they'd rather send the robot out than an astronaut.
Yeah.
But what they want to do is give it these 4 big legs that have like little handhold hooks on them.
Wait 1 second. I think we're getting a phone call.
Okay.
We're gonna pull this in real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hello. Oop, let's try that again. Hello? Nope. I cannot hear you. Hello? Hello, how are you going? Are you getting this in your headphones right now, Austin?
Nope.
Here, we're having a quick little issue on this bad boy. Speak up real quick. Can I hear you?
It's me, a flat earther.
Who is this? A flat earther?
Oh, yay.
No, I'm just kidding. One time I met a flat earther outside of Knoxville, though.
Whoa, what did they say?
Apparently, to get initiated into the Flat Earth Society, they buy a globe and they make you stomp on it.
This sounds like like a middle school, like, this is what happens when you do that. Like, did they... How did you know they were a flat earther? Did they just like come up and tell you like, hey, just a heads up, before I walk in here, I have to let everyone know I'm a flat earther?
No, I mean, what happened? Some guy was like, seriously, like, yeah, I'm a flat earther. And then I was talking to this other guy who was like, I am a flat earther, but what being a flat earther means is that you believe that you're being lied to by, space people, space experts. So maybe I'm not a flat earther, but I believe that there's more truth out there. So one guy was like totally like, yeah, the earth is flat. And the other one's like, the earth may or may not be flat. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So an earth truther rather than an earth flat earther. Flat truther? Wait.
Well, he's the guy that stepped on the globe. He's technically a flat earther because he got initiated.
Oh, one of them was not initiated. They did not step on the globe.
Right.
Right. Dude.
But he was more about it.
I kind of want to step on a globe, not to become a flat earther, but that sounds really
you do
exciting.
instantly. Like,
yeah.
I'd be careful, Ned.
What do you think's inside a globe?
Oh,
are those just
lava?
Lava? Oh, no.
One time, I accidentally dropped a decorative gourd at a West Elm in Dallas, and it was just full of powder.
Oh.
And it made this noise. It went like, poof. And I was like, oh no, I can't afford this $40 decorative gourd because I'm a college student.
How'd it taste?
And then I ran out. I'm sure it's something like that. It's like powder.
Yeah. So are you a flat gourder now?
I only like flat gourds in my casserole.
Well, thanks so much for calling in. I think we're going to jump it back down. But if anyone else has any more Flat Earth information, or if you have anything else you want to say before you go, please let us know, for or against Flat Earthers.
Against.
Against Flat Earthers? Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for calling in.
So I had never seen that show, The Bachelorette. Yeah, where the woman chooses the contestants. And I was watching this episode with my friend, just hanging out, and there was a guy on there that was a flat earther, and I was like, "Whoa, this show is great!" Like,
whoa, this show's providing.
Yeah, kind of like when they always have like the one kind of crazy one on American Idol or whatever.
Yeah. Man, we were talking about the space station yesterday on the Stacks, and Ruth was bringing up how crazy it is for them all to be living together from so many different cultures and all together. When do you think? I mean, this is definitely an Elon Musk kind of like pathway of history, but when is the first in-space reality TV show going to happen?
I mean, you can watch NASA TV. There's always a live stream.
But we're talking about 10 crazy astronauts under one station roof.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do science.
I'm not here to contact life. I think that would be great, because that it puts us forward for so much. I mean, people can't splash wine into each other's faces in 0G.
Oh, yeah.
They splash wine, and then it just kind of floats
drown.
there. Yeah, or they drown. Yeah, that's some effing raging in space.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, you could just open a beer, pour it out, and then just kind of fly through it. I mean, there's so many different potentials for partying in space.
I don't know if you could take a beer up there because it's pressurized in a can. Like, I think it would. I think on launch it would explode or something. And it'd be really shaken up.
Which would be real tight, dude. Yeah. I guess you could do a keg stand. No, that's pressurized as well. You'd have to bring liquor.
There's a rumor that the Russians bring vodka.
Oh.
Yeah. So they effin rage.
Yeah. Oh, man. Your blood gets so much thinner up there. Like, would it take...
I mean, maybe, so a big purpose, the main purpose of the station is to study human physiology in space, so that we can learn about like what happens to your vision, what happens to, how do you stay fit when you don't have gravity. How do we study the human body so that when we are going to go and moon, Mars, beyond, or try to colonize or do whatever, we know like this is how you counteract macular degeneration. This is how you counteract like extreme weight loss. This is how your bones thin a little bit, so you have to like really make sure that you do bone pills.
Do bone pills. Yeah. Welcome to Effin Rager, where we're talking about doing bone pills. Yeah.
I would bet that when that they have probably done blood tests on like what happens when you have alcohol.
Yeah, they must have had to have.
Yeah, for science.
Yeah.
Get drunk for science.
I would have to say that I imagine coming back from space, back onto our original, the OG gravity, the OGG, if you will. That's got to be the final hangover. There's no hangover heavier than that.
And they're very like you might have seen like photos of like when they're removed from the capsule. And, like, they like put blankets on them and they're like kind of weak. And also like the so the way that we get up there to the station and back is by riding with the Russians. And so they have like their version of the space shuttle, which is called Soyuz.
Soyuz?
Soyuz, like Soyuz.
Okay.
And when they come back, they land in Kazakhstan and they land on the ground. So they have parachutes and stuff, and they have padding, but they still describe it like being in like a 40-mile-an-hour car crash.
Holy moly!
Yeah, and being weak.
Why? Because we land in the water. I'm sure that's not as comfortable. Like, I mean, it's got to be more comfortable than just landing on solid land. But
well, I mean,
I guess there's not a lot of water.
I guess there's not really like a good place that they can do that. Maybe I think their Navy isn't as advanced as ours.
Yeah.
Like
what's their trampoline technology? There's got to be something over there that's better than just
it up,
landing straight on the ground.
Yeah. Well, there's parachutes to slow them, and then there's like I think these like this like padding that comes out on the bottom to help.
Yeah. And then there's just two guys down there with a blanket that are like, whoa.
They have like a crew of firemen.
Yeah. Just like, try to drift to the left.
So, did we already say that Lucas survives?
Lucas says, yeah. People have been waiting with bated breath. They're like, oh my gosh, does he live?
Why are they goofing up there when there's a man that's dead? No.
Now there's two astronauts that the documentary really follows. Who's the other guy?
So the other guy is an American astronaut. His name's Chris Cassidy, and he's sort of considered like the most capable astronaut that we have in the Corps right now. He's kind of like
what do you mean by capable? Just
like
jack of all trades? Or?
Yeah, that, and like he has like incredible like physical endurance. He has a great memory. Like I don't know if I told this anecdote, but when the first time we met them, Phil, my coworker who worked on this with me, he offhandedly mentioned that he did some on-field instant replay work for the Super Bowl, and when we went to film, like maybe 3 or 4 months later, he remembered that, and he's like, "Hey, like, did you work any more football games?" And blah blah blah. Like, he's incredibly personable. He's incredibly intelligent, and so he's kind of like, the story is told by 3 people. Yeah, it's Chris Hansen, Luca, the astronaut that this happened to, and then Chris Cassidy, the American, who is like this, total rock star of an astronaut, and who's like was able to help Luca, was able to figure out that he was okay, and like take care of everything. And so like the 3 of them kind of ping pong and tell this story.
Man. So while that was all happening, he's I know he was the one trying to kind of get in contact with them. I don't know, were they on the same? Were they both doing work at the same time? I guess, what was he doing while he was out there? Like, they were
doing just some real, I don't know if you remember the very beginning of the documentary, but they talk about like how boring the work can be. Yeah. Because they're out there for 8 to 10 hours, and they a lot of it's like very slow, very meticulous. Like, okay, turn the wrench this much. Okay, now do like. So he was out there. They were going to attach a new onto one of the Russian nodes. They're going to attach a new piece of equipment. So they're just doing some work with cables. Yeah. And one of the reasons he couldn't be more helpful is because while they're both tethered to the station, like they have these lines that if something happens, they let go or they're floating around, it'll slowly pull them back. Right. But their tethers go in different directions, because when they came out the airlock, they went in 2 separate directions. Man. So he couldn't go like with him to help unless he went all the way back and then like crawled all the way back around.
Flip all the way around. Ooh, man! So you couldn't go the opposite direction. Right. Yeah. Man, oh man! And then so the spacesuits themselves, like did they exactly figure out what to do about the water? I mean, this is the first time it's ever happened. Obviously, they've worked to fix that. So. What is it in the suit that caused that to happen? Because those suits are like crazy high tech. You were talking about last night.
They're insane. And one conscious decision we had to kind of make in the documentary was to not get too in the weeds on that. Right. Because otherwise it would just turn into like this incredibly complex like explanation. Of like how this very like specific piece works. But
the documentary does a fantastic job, I should say. Thanks. That it is so. Extremely, I said the movie Dark Water earlier. It's an hour and a half film about people in dark water. Pretty boring, very suspenseful. This is 30 minutes. It is insanely. It's so scary because it's a horror movie where you're in the middle of space. I mean, not a horror movie. It's a real thing that happened. Right, but you're in the middle of space with nothing, and you're drowning in your own suit. So like, it couldn't be more like close to you, despite you being in nothingness. Like
and again. It's not like he can reach up with his hand and touch his face or wipe off or anything. He can't open the helmet. He can't do anything about it except for So it was just the little. So on the spacesuits, they have like kind of a white backpack looking thing that's called a pliss, and that basically has like all the life support systems and stuff like that. So there's just like a small pump in there that got jammed up with this like particulate like aluminum silicate that came from a broken filter in Houston. So like the water that wasn't like purely clear had just like really tiny.
I mean, that's all it takes. Yeah.
And that jammed up the little holes. And the water was able to go around these fan blades and start coming in. And so it was about, they say it was about a liter of water that got on his head.
Man. least it wasn't like Dr. Pepper or something. I mean, that would burn.
And you couldn't just drink it because they didn't know where it was coming from or what it was. And if you remember, they also talk about how they originally thought that it came from his drink bag that he has.
Right.
So in these suits, on their chest, they have this big bag. It holds about a liter and a half of water, and they thought the water might be coming from there. So they have him drink all of it, but then the water kept coming.
He drank all of his water
drank
pack.
all of it at once,
and there's still water flowing out.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh.
Yeah. So it wasn't that.
So you're working for 8 to 10 hours. They give you water to drink. Is there a food thing that happens in the spacesuit as well, or is that just you protein up?
Yeah.
I guess they have a pretty spacey diet, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've had their ice cream before, and I get it. I'm completely full for days. Once you've had Dippin' Dots, you're like pretty much done for the day.
Yeah.
That could be like 10 meals.
I love that freeze-dried stuff. Yeah. Like, I get the Neapolitan ice cream. Like, anytime I go over there, they have it, like, in the gift shop or whatever.
Yeah.
I load up.
Do you just give that for free, or you have to go?
No, I got to pay for it. But they have a deal. I think it's, like, 3 for $12, but then I also get a discount, so it's not too bad.
Okay, so you get a little, yeah. What's the best food over there besides ice cream? You get that, like, freeze-dried chicken? Or?
Well, no, I mean, they don't have that, but They do fruit. They do like bananas. They do strawberries. But it's really weird because like not only is the texture like completely different, but it's a lot like more flavorful. It's like a lot richer for some reason.
I guess because it's like compacted.
The waters.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that as well. Yeah. Do they do? I think Breakfast Club has a menu they're trying to put in there, but still the line is so long even to get into space to eat it. Yeah. Chicken and waffles in a pill form.
Yeah.
Sign me up. If you were to make. So the spacesuit's like it's pretty tricked out. It's got everything you would need for space exploration. If you were to add anything to the spacesuit for your own personal use, what would you add?
Good question.
I think I would add some like butt fans first and foremost, just fans that are constantly on my butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that thing needs to chill.
Yeah. So like when you go to a swimming pool, do you like hang out by the vents?
Yes. Yes.
That's why you're always in that one spot.
Hey man, I'm just chilling.
Man, what would I add? Probably just like a little container of Gushers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It keeps feeding them to you.
Yeah.
Oh. Could you imagine if that broke and the gush goo was like
That's how you drowned?
Yeah, you drown in gush. Well,
okay.
If I had an obituary that read died drowning in gush, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool, man, when gush comes to shoves.
That'd be an effing good way to go.
Now, you made us watch this movie while we were effin raging.
Yeah.
It was 4th of July.
Yeah.
We were rained out.
America.
About to drown on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And after watching, what did we watch? The terrifying movie.
Oh, Annihilation.
Oh my gosh! Can we talk about Annihilation
Sure.
for a couple seconds?
I will. I love talking about Annihilation.
Explain Annihilation real quick.
So there's been this strange event.
Right.
It's like it almost looks like a big bubble is over this part of the this like state park.
Yeah, completely changing the biology.
Right. Yeah. So Natalie Portman and 4 other women go in almost on like a D&D quest to get to this lighthouse and to like see what's been happening.
Yeah, several groups of military have gone in there, and this is a group of scientists who are like, we've sent a lot of people in there. We need to just go ourselves.
Right, and an all-women team.
Yeah,
because they thought that it might, I don't know, maybe it's like it just doesn't like men.
Yeah. Hey, who doesn't? Yeah. But going in, I mean, that movie, horrifying. So many terrifying monsters.
Yeah.
We watched Eva after that because we're like, well, what do we do next?
Yeah.
And you're like, let's watch the documentary.
Yeah,
like,
let's
I guess
do it.
we got to do it before the interview. I think I was way more tense during that. Like, I saw a double-headed thing just chomping on people, like dragging them by the neck. And this still, I mean, we still have scientists going into the deep unknown, not knowing what to expect.
Right.
Horrifying.
And that's
and I don't think being raged helped me. I think it maybe got me deep in my own head.
Good.
And it made me horrified. I don't know. I was not ready for it.
Yeah, I think just because you know it's real. you know, and like you know that these people go up and they risk their lives.
Oh man, we got another call.
Hey, all right.
It's coming in hot. Let's go over to the phones.
All right, let's do it.
Hello. You are on the Rage line. How goes it?
Hey, it's Brenda.
Hey, what's going on, Brenda?
Hey.
How you doing tonight?
Good. I just have a question. I was wondering if you had a choice and relatively the same amount of comfort, would you go into space or would you go into deep ocean? And who would you rather party with, aliens or deep sea monsters?
Ooh,
Whoa.
okay. So deep ocean versus space.
I would go to space and hang out with sea monsters in space.
Ooh,
Little combo there.
Find a little, yeah. They're both horrifying to me. I think I might be more scared of deep water than deep space.
Yeah. The ocean has something called I think it's called a blood-sucking vampire octopus squid.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah,
Tell us
I'll have to
more.
find it. But it's blood red and it consumes blood.
Nice.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. They named it after the color and how much it sucks.
Yeah, you know, one thing that whenever I have these conversations with people, I ask them like, would you go to space?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you wouldn't.
I don't know. You asked me that last night
Yeah.
if I would go to Mars or not, and
Yeah.
it's horrifying. I guess it's they're both terrifying to me. I guess what comes down to is just like, have we done it before?
Yeah.
Was it safe for everyone involved? Did my mom agree to it? Yes, then I'm down.
What about you, Brenda?
I love the ocean, and I'm terrified of it, so I think I'd rather go to the ocean because I heard we have only discovered about 7%, some very small number of the animals in the deep ocean.
Now remember, we've only discovered what, like 0.0001 of the universe. So like, there's
But
so much more space.
freaky alien things I know I can find if I go down there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess either way, you're coming in contact with something that hasn't tried to make contact. So why are you doing that?
Oh, now that you put it that way, I don't want to go. I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely 100% take any chance I could to go up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, when it becomes privatized and if I get rich someday, then, you know, I'll take up Richard Branson on his Virgin Galactic.
Hey, make 2 more documentaries, and then you should have like $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Is that how video works?
Yeah, especially documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, big cash cow.
Well, thanks so much, Brenda. Before you go, I got to ask you, flat Earth or flat space?
Flat what?
Flat Earth or flat space? Which one do you believe in?
Oh, I like holograms, so I'm going to go with flat space.
Excellent,
Nice.
excellent. Well, thanks so much for calling in, Brenda. I hope to rage with you soon.
Sweet.
Later.
I'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Ooh, phones are ringing off the hook today. That's good. That's fantastic. Man, yeah, underwater, deep sea. Are you interested in deep sea stuff at all, or have you always been?
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I just don't know much about it.
Yeah,
you know?
no
It's
one
just
does
not
know.
my- Yeah.
Not even James Cameron. No, have you always been fascinated in space, like growing up before doing video stuff, before all that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up in it.
Yeah,
My,
we all did. Austin.
I meant my parents were really interested. My dad, his minor was in physics because he to study space,
Yeah.
astrophysics. And so we've always kind of been around it. And I've just always thought it was really cool. And you know, a lot of people, it's scary, but we kind of feel like it's important to figure it out.
Yeah, I think
And,
absolutely.
and I
It's-
think that like if I can do like just this one little bit to like help draw like just a little bit more attention to it, then that's great. The NASA budget. So if you imagine the entire U.S. budget as $1,
Mhm.
NASA takes half of a penny.
Okay, a
So-
halfpenny, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if we just doubled that to a full penny, like think about how much more we could do.
Yeah. I think it's our responsibilities as humans to continue to explore. I don't know what it is that drives us to explore. Is
Yeah.
it survival? Is it just the search for more intelligence? But I think space exploration is pretty dang important, and it's cool that so this documentary is going to be showing at NASA, and not just for the premiere, but it's going to continue.
Yeah, so the premiere is on Saturday, July 14th.
Okay, well, let's save plugs for the end.
It's at Space Center Houston.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the public-facing visitor center of Johnson Space Center.
Mm-hmm.
After the premiere, it will be on rotation for at least a year. So you can go and, like, if you go down there, which you really should. I always try to plug Space Center Houston a little bit too, because they've really turned it around from what used to be kind of gimmicky or kind of like a theme park, and now it's a lot more of a museum and science center.
Yeah.
And they have a huge focus on education.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you can go there, you can see a bunch of the artifacts that they have, a bunch of the new exhibits, and then while you're there, pop in, watch documentary.
Yeah. They've got a couple of videos over there.
Mm-hmm.
Has your company worked on other videos that are over there right now?
Oh, yeah.
Or, you've done a lot of work.
We've
with
done
them.
a lot of their content.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I really haven't been to Space Center Houston in a decade at least.
Yeah,
it's
you should
been a
really
long
go back.
time.
It's a lot different.
Kind of excited to come back and check it out.
And they have
Is the ball pit still good?
yeah, see, no more ball pit.
They got rid of the ball pit.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling you about that anime yesterday. They have the ball pit in the anime.
Oh man, I gotta watch that.
I'll have to let them know.
Yeah, I mean it's and they're really pushing to expand the facility, get more artifacts, get more science. They built this new education facility back there that's really beautiful. We've shot a lot of stuff in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they also have this really big push to bring in kids from disadvantaged communities or kids that maybe even in other states or like that don't have access to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just to get them out of the classroom, let them see what this stuff looks like in real life, and then also, we talk a lot about the astronauts, but it takes thousands and thousands of people to do this in all different walks of life. Like you need artists, you need people that can sew, you need people that can prepare food, you need doctors, you need lawyers, you need marketing people.
Well, it's one of those things where you see these and you get to see mission control for like a brief second, see what's going on.
Yeah.
In there, and that room's already like flooded with people, and then it's just like 10 times, if not 30, if not 50 times that many people in mission control, like working on all of this stuff. Like it takes so many moving parts.
Right. Yeah. And so the astronauts are kind of like the most visual, the most iconic, kind of the celebrities of space exploration.
Mm-hmm.
They will always, if you ask them about it, they will always deflect and say like, well, yeah, but it's not really me. Like I'm just kind of the person that does the work. It's all these other people that schedule my time, that tell me what to do. All these specialists that are in my headset, like I said, like telling me exactly how to turn the wrench and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a popular saying that an astronaut's time does not belong to the astronaut when they're up there. It belongs to the American people because we're paying for it.
They work as the surrogate.
Yeah.
That just transfers that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they have free time, right? Like that's how they get to make silly videos, or that's how they play music,
viral.
Or that kind of thing. Or some of them are photographers. They spend time with that. So they do have their free time, but for the most part, like they live to a very, very strict schedule.
Man, I didn't even think to ask this yesterday, but so this whole event happens. How much longer is he in space after that happens?
That's a really good question.
Because they didn't just like fly him down right afterwards.
No,
he's just still up there for the remainder of his time.
And he was fine. And also, like, one thing that comes across in the documentary, I hope, but I can say for sure, is that he didn't want to come back down. Like,
he
wanted to stay out
like,
there.
Yeah. What he said several times, like, I'm glad it happened to me and nobody else. Like, and he's dedicated.
So and so actually, like, I've seen both of them recently, and they're both training to go back up.
That's awesome.
Cassidy's going to go back up, and he has to do a repair on an alpha magnetic spectrometer, and he described it like trying to go into a minivan from like the back door and fixing something under the front passenger seat. So he's got to like take stuff apart, crawl in weird spaces, and that's actually what he was training for. When you see him in the neutral buoyancy laboratory, like in the swimming pool. When we were hanging out with him, then that he was training for that next mission.
Have you been inside that pool before?
No, I wish.
I think everybody wishes they could be in it. Yeah, can you tell me about that facility real quick? I've had like the chance to go into it briefly, but it's so massive.
It's
like
huge.
How deep is that thing?
40 feet.
40 feet?
So
incredible.
It's called the Sonny Carter Training Facility, and inside of the Sonny Carter building is what's called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, or for short, it's just called the NBL. It's I think it's 40 feet deep, 100 feet across, and then 40 feet across the other way. And inside of it, it's not built in the same order or the same like way that the station is built, but it has all of the components down there. So there's basically a replica of the station underwater, and that lets them train and practice on what they're supposed to do in a quote unquote weightless environment.
Yeah. And I mean, just having the size of the equipment in front of you, I mean, I imagine that stuff, like seeing it for the first time has got to be like, oh, that's not what that normally looks like.
Yeah.
Like,
but they also do, they do VR simulations. They do all this other training.
You were talking about the HoloLens.
Yeah, they have they have 2 HoloLenses up there. Did you see?
So
and I did a video for that. I don't know if you saw that one.
I don't think so. We were talking about HoloLens like a year ago, and you had mentioned that you were working with some video with that. But that is, I was a VR fanatic. I bought the PlayStation VR when it first came out, and it took me a week of using it. That was like, oh, this isn't the future. AR is the future.
Yeah.
And I think the HoloLens is so incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Especially, so they use it for training purposes.
Well, they're still developing it. They have it up there so that they can practice that stuff. But the video that we did was for a company called EXA Aerospace, and they wanted to make it to where like you input like 3D models of everything you need to do, like your soundboard. And then like stuff like appears in your field of vision that says like turn this or push this or whatever, just so that you can spend less time like flipping through a book learning how to do it and just put that on.
It's literally like
it.
a video game where it's like grab this lever and it's like lights up.
And they also they want to use it for like medical stuff too. Like you look at someone's arm and it's like take the blood sample here or whatever.
That's so cool. I wish we had one of those for here. It would just be like turn your levels down and then just like slamming the dump button. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be such a valuable movement into the future, just having that kind of technology.
Yeah.
Until it's embedded in our eyes, and then that's just all we see, and it's
when we're manufactured.
Yeah, and then we're just robots, and I'm looking forward to that.
Robots are cool. Oh yeah, I didn't finish my Robonaut story earlier.
Oh yeah, wait.
So check this out. So
you and Robonaut are like thrown down. You're next to the train yard.
We're raging.
Just raging.
Ragonaut. He what they're gonna do is they're building this set of like 4 like spider-like legs, and then they're gonna attach Robonaut to the top of those, so he can like crawl around the outside of the station like a spider.
Robonaut is already scary looking.
I know.
They gave him like a Greek or a Roman Boba Fett helmet.
Yeah.
And then tiny little camera eyes inside that, so he already looks like freaky.
Yeah.
And him just having, he looks humanoid, and then just giant spider legs.
Yeah. I think
all right,
cool.
sign me up. There's a couple other robots in that robotics department. I'm trying to remember. I was lucky enough. I took some alpha classes or whatever they're called, like alternative learning classes in middle school.
Oh, I thought you meant like to like be like an alpha male.
Yeah, that's
like
what it was.
you.
Yeah, it did not work out. I do radio. But it was. We took some like classes where we took some courses over there, and they were cool enough to let us in. It was when they had just finished Robonaut, so I got to see like
that's probably building
1.0. Yeah.
Was it like a massive building?
Yeah. Oh, it was humongous.
Yeah. That's building 9, and that scene when Luca's kind of like messing with the suit, and they kind of like point at where the thing was. That's building 9. Also.
That's building 9. Okay.
They have a mock-ups of the space station modules, and then they also have like the rover stuff. They have Robonaut. They have this thing called the Argos, which is like this suspension thing where they hang, and it also simulates weightlessness, so they have to kind of learn how to like grab stuff and not like accidentally push the wrong thing and like get pushed away or whatever. So that's a really cool building.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
all the buildings are really cool buildings.
Yeah.
Like,
well, some of them are like administrative.
Yeah.
There's not.
Hey, paper's cool, baby. You seen these paper clips?
Yeah. Yeah, it's and actually that's a building that if you do like a tram tour, you can go see that one.
Yeah. Man, that's incredible. Do you have a favorite building over there? I mean, one that you like to jump into, or?
I mean, 9's pretty cool. I like Historic Mission Control a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of beautiful footage of both historic and new.
And then
Mission Control.
there's one called Building 16. They have a bunch of simulator stuff in there. They have what's called a Sail Lab, Shuttle Avionics Integration Laboratory. And what is in there is like when they were doing the shuttle program, it's like it's actually like considered like a shuttle, even though it's like all in pieces. But
Yeah.
they would run missions concurrently. And so like they would have the real shuttle launching, then they also had people in this one doing the exact same thing.
Like in real time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And in that Sail Lab, they would also communicate with mission control, like a secondary mission control.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like there was overlap, and so that if something went wrong or they had an issue, they could like test it in the Sail Lab and then make the change on the real shuttle.
Whoa.
And that's a really neat. We did videos for them, and like it's just a really fascinating building, and they have a lot of really cool like other training like mock-ups in there.
Yeah. Wow. So they've
that building.
pretty much just like built pretty much every little piece of the space station in kind of sections.
Yeah,
Or
and
not just space station, but the shuttles.
Everything.
And everything.
Simulation is like absolutely critical to space exploration.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because you have to know what's going to go wrong when you're on the ground, preferably.
Yeah.
Unlike Luca.
Yeah.
Then and know how to prepare for it.
Yeah.
You know, how many levels of failure can you tolerate? And so like you have to have backup systems, but the more systems you add, the heavier stuff is. So you have to kind of balance risk versus cost.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's a lot of evening things out just to make sure it all works out. Now talking about problems in space, I hate to bring this up, but we got to talk about Space Bat. You're very passionate about Space Bat.
I am.
And I think this is a good opportunity, a good platform to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, did I actually, before we get into it, did I tell you that I got in trouble for...
No. What happened?
So we were doing a interview with the
Vampire?
the director of the Johnson Space Center. So like she was in charge of all of it. Her name is Eleanor Cho. She's not there anymore, but her name is Eleanor Cho. She's a 3-time shuttle astronaut. We got done with the interview, and I asked her about Space Bat.
Oh, no.
As in, like, well, I mean, I asked my boss, Edge, and I was like, hey, I want to ask Ellen about Space Bat when we interview her. And he's like, whatever. But I think what he meant was, like, yeah, like off camera. But I did it on camera.
Oh, no.
And so she was a little bit flustered. She answered it graciously. And then at the end, it's like, don't ever use that. So on STS-119, March 15th, 2005, maybe, they noticed a free-tail bat was clinging onto the liquid rocket booster, which is the big orange one, on the space shuttle.
Yeah.
And they noticed that there was a bat on there, but you can't delay, like, a multi-million-dollar space mission because there's a bat. But they were able to somehow determine that it had a broken wing, and that's why it was clinging onto it.
Ah.
And so
They didn't just send an intern out there with a broom. God!
they waited a while. I mean, they delayed it like just a little bit, you know, hoping it would fly off, you know, thinking that maybe like once the rumbling started that, you know, it would fly off, but
hightail out.
It didn't. And so Space Bat, got to pour one out for him. He raged into the
That is the
truest
truest rager of them all.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. Well, we're about reaching the end of our time. Let's talk about the film. So it's going to be premiering on the 14th.
Yeah. Saturday.
It'll stay there for the next month for sure, and then maybe more after
No,
that.
a year.
Oh, for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It'll be there for a year.
Misread that completely.
And then hopefully longer after that. And then what we're trying to do is also get it into other science centers. So the deal we signed with them is that like they have the Houston exclusivity.
Okay.
But, you know, we're going to hit up the Ross Perot Museum in Dallas, like a couple other
Awesome.
space centers and other science centers around the country.
Yeah.
And try to get them to have it too. Cause
Is it going to be available online or anything, or is this?
Yeah.
See
So NASA TV will air it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when they do that, then everything that they air gets put online, so it'll also be online.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And that's just like NASA.tv or?
I think they moved everything onto archive.org.
Oh, okay.
Like there's like now a huge NASA section.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
They used to do it themselves.
I do know that because they moved all those sounds there like a year ago,
Yeah.
and I've been cutting through those. Yeah.
So yeah, there will be lots of ways to see it. And then I requested budget to pay for festival entry fees. So
Awesome.
gonna try to do that, see what it does. Maybe win like a little ribbon or a participation.
I can't see why it wouldn't win
certificate.
the biggest ribbon.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic film, and I
Thank
really
you.
recommend
Thank you.
everyone see it. But don't watch it at night. Don't watch it.
No,
when
watch
you-
it that. Yeah,
when
no.
you've been effing raging.
No, rage and then go see it.
It'll freak you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just know that it's intense in the best way possible, and it's
Thanks.
extremely educational. Like I think these kind of videos are important because it gets the next generation like amped up. I mean, when you hear about space stuff, you're like a bunch of eggheads just shooting themselves off.
Nerds.
Yeah, but like seeing something like that, like this is serious stuff. This is incredible. Like we are pushing the bounds of what humans can do, and it's good that you're documenting it.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Is there
Glad
any
to be
last
here.
words you want to put on?
No, Phil, I miss you. I wish you were here. Connor, I also miss you. I wish you were here. So maybe the next one.
Maybe the next one. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.